Hello students, in this video we will connect Python Flask with my MySQL database. For the demonstration I am using MySQL as a database, but you can use SQLite, SQL Server, or MongoDB, or whatever DBMS you prefer to use. You can use it, but in this demonstration I will connect simple Python Flask with using MySQL and Pi Mysql with I will connect it to MySQL. Okay, here what I have done so far, and we will see the demonstration of this. When we click on home, we see a small, very simple dashboard, and this is a continuation of my previous lecture where we made a small form where we this was a form. Instead of new student, we were taking a name as a student and the email address of the student and the program of study they are enrolled. And when I used to submit the button, and all these things were extracted from the form and displayed in a table. This was the example in our last video, but in this video what we will do, we will do the same thing. We created a form and we insert some name. Let's say I insert Junaid Babar, this is my name, and then I insert my email address, and let's say I say that I am a BSIT student, and then I click submit. So what happens, this record is inserted into a table which is in my SQL, and this page which is redirected to intro shows all the record. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records. Few students are in BScs and few students are in BSIT, and when I click in the home, and it tells us there are 5 students, 3 students are in BScs and 2 students are in BSIT. So in this demonstration I have almost implemented all CRUD operations. Like CRUD operation, there are 4 famous things: CRUD. Whenever we try to use database as a backend, we make basically CRUD operations. So in CRUD operations there are 4 operations: create, read, update and delete. So here is the example. So when I click view all students, so this is basically the read operations. Like I have retrieved all the records in my table and I am displaying that. When I click insert, this is a create, see, and then the rest 2 operations are update and delete. For example, if I click Muhammad Raza Khan and if I click delete, this record is deleted. And then when I click home, now we have 2 BScs students and 2 BSIT students, and view all students. Then if I update some records, so Wasim Khan, his email address this, I said this is a BSIT student now. So now the record is updated. Again, 2 students of BSIT, 3 are BSIT, and 1 is of BScs students. So all 3 CRUD operations we will see, and the queries are again the simple queries we have implemented when we want to create a table, which is usually not done from the front end, from the client side. It is always done from the DBA side. And when we have to use, let's say, select, so we will use the select syntax, and then we will say order by, or the where clause we have seen, we are using the update query and we are using the delete query. Well, before I continue, I will here mention that in a classical database management system, we usually do not execute the delete queries, and delete queries are only executed when there is some error. But we never delete a record in our databases. We use some flags to make any record invisible, but usually we don't execute the delete queries. But for the sake of demonstration, I have physically deleting the records. For example, if I let's come to the let's say MySQL, and this is the terminal side, and I said select strike from students. So for example, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 students, and if I want to delete Azhar Khan, so if I click Azhar Khan here and if I delete this, so you will see this record is physically deleted. Now I have left with 3 records. So if I update someone, let's say Wateen Khan to Wateen Khan updated, and here we will see in physically we have updated this record. And so let's see how the things are happening in Flask. So before doing anything else, I will stop my Flask machine, and I will delete. I will maybe drop database Python for web. I hope, yeah. Okay, so I am deleting everything, and we will do this from the scratch. So before you continue, sorry, there is a few queries I have already written. This is a simple queries. First, I will create a database Python for web. This is I'm creating like whenever you are running any DBMS database management system, either it is MySQL or SQL Server, then in that DBMS you can have many databases or the schemas. So I'm going to create one schema, that name is database. I'm creating a database with a Python for web. Then I'm using this. Then I'm creating a simple one table with a few attributes. The first attribute is ID. ID is the primary key, and it is not null, and it is auto increment. Then I will create a name attribute with the name full name, and it's a voucher, and I assume that no name is greater than the 100 characters. Then I create an email. It is also a voucher, and again I assume that no email is greater than the 100 characters. And then I take the batch title. The batch title is either he is a BScs students or BSIT students. So, and again I assume it is not more than 100 characters. So whenever I create some record, I want that the time and the date should be inserted. Either I can give from the front end, or by default, if I don't give, the current date and time should be inserted with the record. So I create a date stamp. I say that this is the date created, and the type is date and time, and default value is a current time stamp. So many flags are used whenever in the when you are making any application. So there could be date created, date updated, or either the record is active or not. So there are so many flags which usually do not visible on the client side, but these as a database or as a application you are managing. And again I will say that the primary key is ID. So I create a database, I use database, and I create a table, and then I will insert 4 records insert into students. Mohammad Raza Khan, Azhar Khan, Wateen Khan, Zahir Khan. These are the 4 name of the students. Might be very weird for many peoples across different countries, but these are the names of the students that I am teaching. And this is some fake email addresses. I am not sure that either this email really exists at the Gmail server, but I'm just making I'm creating a random email addresses. So I will copy this, and then I will come to MySQL, and I will paste. My records are created. So I'm stopping the server. Actually I have already stopped. So again, since we are starting from the scratch, so when I come to my code, I'm using some new packages. Let's SQL Alchemy I am using, and let's see if I try to run the code. It will say that no module name find SQL Alchemy. So then you have to use pip install SQL Alchemy. Alright, so we have installed SQL Alchemy, and now I will start my app, and it said that, oh, you have to install Pi Mysql 2. So pip install Pi Mysql. So these 2 new packages I will be using in this project, so I have to install this. After that, my project runs fine, and I come to web, and I will refresh. So all these 4 records are inserted that I just executed the commands. If I click home, it shows me there are 3 BScs students and 1 BSIT students. When I click on the insert new students, and it shows me a form, and I can insert something. Let's say Again, I'm going to insert Junaid in let's say BSIT maybe. Let's click. So Junaid is inserted, and the records are shown with respect to the IDs. This is ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, ID 4, and ID 5. Let's cross check on MySQL. Where is MySQL? Select static from students. So Junaid is number 5, though, so we can see the Junaid is number 5. So when I can delete all the records, I can make app more interactive by prompting, are you sure you want to delete the record? So there are so many things we can do, but I'm keeping things simple so that we can see what is actually happening. So let's come to the code. So on the server side, the app.py file, which is the server side, I am importing two packages. One is the SQL Alchemy and import create engine. Then SQL Alchemy ORM import scoped session and session makers. Now, once I have imported these two packages, then this is again very simple. I'm creating an app with the Flask. Then there are so many connection strings you can pass. I assume here you have worked with some other like PHP or .NET, ASP.NET, and this is something very trivial and very frequent practice, that whenever we want to connect a database, we need a connection string. So this is the connection string. So this is my root password. Don't use it. Don't try to connect my laptop remotely. Anyway, so the question is, how can I connect Oracle if as a database, or if I want to connect SQL Server, or I want to connect SQLite. Since I already mentioned at the beginning of the lecture, we have so many DBMS. So let's come to the documentation of SQL Alchemy, docs SQL Alchemy, and this is the page you can easily access. You can Google configuration strings SQL Alchemy and you will get this URL. So here are the supported databases, database URLs, and this is the syntax. Like you give a dialect plus driver, then username and the password, then the host and the port and the database name. So same is the thing if you want to connect MySQL. Since I'm connecting MySQLs, again when I want to connect MySQL with my Python, there are different types of engines. The default engine is this MySQL, one is MySQL plus MySQL DB, and one is MySQL plus Pi Mysql. So I'm using this. I found this very convenient when I used to deploy on shared hosting, like let's say Namecheap or A2 host. So when I was using MySQL, there were so many errors and conflicting with other packages, but using MySQL plus Pi Mysql, I found it very convenient, but different users may have different experiences. So if you want to connect Oracle, this is the Oracle syntax, MySQL Server, SQLite, and so you can connect actually any kind of database. So here I want to connect MySQL, and the name of my database was Python for Web, which I just recently created in front of you. Once I have done this, I will create the sessions. So I will pass this engine to my scoped session, and I will create a connection to my SQL Server, and I name it as DB, and we will see that how this DB is very effective. So the basic index route we will see at the end, but let's see. Let's say this is the simple select queries. I'm using as a function count2. So I copy this syntax and I go to my SQL Server, MySQL, and if I paste the query here, so what happens, I say that give me the batch title and count the number of students in this batch title from the student group, and I name this column as a total. And when I say group by batch title, alright, so this is the simple query. I assume that basic SQL is clear to all my audience, so I'm not spending much time explaining the query. The main scope of the lecture is how to connect with the knowledge of SQL to the Python. So this is the query, and I want to connect it with the Python. So what happens? So I will say db.execute. Whenever I say db.execute, So whatever the query you are giving inside the string will be executed. So I will say that db.execute, the query is given, and then fetch all. So you can use fetch one or fetch all. So I'm using fetch all, and this all, the result of this is passed to dash variable. So here the dash means the dashboard. So again, this variable is passed to index.html, and is passed to this, and we can see that when I executed the MySQL, I will receive two columns. The first column is batch title, the second column is total, and the rows are two, BScs, BSIT. If I create another program, let's say masters or PhD, and then you will see masters and PhD enrolled students as well. So when I pass this to my index.html, I come to index.html. So index.html is very simple. I create one heading, and this is some very beautiful classes of Bootstrap. When I say the BTN success, it is green. Let's see, BSCS. So I'm just using that. Maybe you know a lot other classes of Python. Anyway, sorry, Bootstrap. So h1, and that is the dash. Since dash is a contains more than one record, so I will have to loop. I say for d in dash, then d dot batch title and d dot total, and I'm using two headings. This might not be a very beautiful way, but you can use it as you like it, maybe. So you can use with the different classes of Bootstrap. So this is a very simple dashboard. When I click home, it tells me BSCS3 and BSIT3. Now you have to do some small homework. It should show me how many students I have. Let's say the total, and the total should be 5. So you can use it. You can do it using MySQL, or you can play with some Python code here. So you pass the total number of students. Let's say we will do at the end of the lecture if there is enough time. So home is done. Insert new students. So for insert new students, I am calling a route add students. So let's come to the add student. So in add students, I'm creating a form. It is very simple to our previous lecture. There is nothing new. There is a one form, and the form will be redirected to a route intro, and there are some attributes: name, email, program study, and there are two options of program study. All right. So there is nothing to explain in this page, as I already discussed in my previous lecture when I was explaining Bootstrap forms. So come to the app.py. When you click a form, you are redirected to intro. When you are redirected to intro, what happens? So intro is doing two things. The first is when you click insert and you click submit, it goes to the intro, and when you click view all my students, it goes to the intro. So one is post and one is get. So it is also very much clear from my previous lecture what is the post type and what is the get type. Since intro is only the index is only get, we are not posting anything, but in intro we are posting and getting both things. So if you post something, so what will happen? It will get the name from the form, it will get email from the form, it will get the program from the form, and then it will insert in that table. So query is a simple insert into students, full name, email, batch title, and the date created I'm not giving. It will automatically insert the current default value of the date time. So values, this is a some aware syntax. You could use simple strings like this. I could have used like this: values is equal to something like in name, whatever possibilities. But since I don't want SQL injection, I want to prevent SQL injection. So what is SQL injection? I'm not giving a very detailed introduction. Just let me see, where is my SQL injection tab I have opened. What is SQL injection? So when you are a very naive programmer and you use strings and you don't prevent SQL injection, so hacker can easily insert into your database from your client side. Let's say the client is HTML, and it can hack your data, it can delete your data, it can log into your data without proper username and password. So you have to read SQL injection by your own. So to prevent SQL injection, I have to use parameter. Whatever the values I'm passing to my query, that should be passed by the use of parameters. So this is the syntax. Sorry, where it goes. So when I'm using parameters, colon full name, colon email, colon batch title, 3 values I will have to pass into my insert query, and then I will create a dictionary, full name, email, and program. So this is a part of the syntax. Just follow it. If you are not very much curious about SQL injection, then you can use the very simple query, like this. Query is equal to insert into, let me copy. You can create a very simple query as you like. All right, so I could have said that the values are equal to, here I want to give a name, then I will say name and then string closed and close. So why this is the blue string? Let me see if I have done some mistake. Values is equal to, so this could be the another way, but since we are not much we want to ensure that there is no SQL injection, so I will follow the basic parametric syntax of insert query. So whenever you are retrieving something, then you have to do db.execute. So but if you want to change in a database, whenever you want to insert, update, or delete, then you have to do db.commit. When you execute something and db.commit, then the change in database happens. So I insert the query, db.commit. Then once I have done this, I will select all the students, fetch all, and then pass to my intro.html. And if I am just clicking on this view all students, then the route is, if request.method is equal to get, I will come here and select static from students.fetch all. All the records whatever in the table are retrieved and passed to the students, then those students is passed to the intro.html. all right, so where is my intro.html? Let me click here. So in intro.html, again I'm using the template inheritance. I just inherited all my master template, and then here I'm creating a table. In table, name, email, program study, and action, and then I create a loop for stud in students, and then stud.fullname, stud.email, stud.batch title, and we will see these actions update and delete in my coming video. In this video we will only cover, as I see that much time has been spent on this discussion. So my next video will be how to delete a record and how to update a record. But since my code is already uploaded, you can see, you can comment. If you have questions, do ask me on the YouTube comment section. I have also created a Facebook page with the name MLCS, Machine Learning Computer Science MLCS. There you can ask the questions, and you can, if you think my videos are informative, you can request me anything that I know, and I will make the video of that. Okay guys, in my next video we will see the other two operations. Update, when I click on update, the page route is update 1, and all the records are already filled in database. For example, if I view all students, BSIT, update, So BSIT is by default selected and all the values are already in place. When I click submit, the records are updated. So in my coming video I will explain the update and delete. Okay, stay tuned.